This is Class Birds by Bridget Alexander and Jessica Hoffman.
Some of the distinguishing characteristics we talked about in relation to classifying birds are feathers, wings, beaks or bills, four-chambered heart, and lightweight skeleton. In terms of feathers, birds are the only animals with feathers, which serves various functions such as insulation, flight, and display. Wings are the specialized structures that enable birds to achieve a high-powered flight and provide them with lift generation, propulsion, control, and balance and stability. Beaks and bills are adapted for various feeding methods since birds are toothless. The shapes and sizes of beaks are diverse among different bird species. The four-chambered heart allows for efficient oxygenation of their blood, especially during flight. The lightweight skeleton is essential for flying, but birds also have hollow bones with internal struts to maintain strength while reducing the weight.
Distinguishing characteristics could also be endothermy, oviparous, excellent vision, high metabolism, unique vocalizations, and their legs. For the first one, birds are warm-blooded animals, meaning they can regulate their body temperatures independently of their environment. Birds lay eggs, which is key to the reproductive strategy. Their vision is essential for activities like hunting and navigation. Their high metabolism provides energy for activities like flying. Their vocalizations are known for their diverse and intricate vocalizations, which they use for communication, territory defense, and attracting mates. All birds' legs have two legs but vary in shape and size depending on species and their ecological adaptations for locomotion, perching, hunting, wading, swimming, diving, climbing, grasping, heat regulation, display and communication, and nest building. Throughout our presentation, we have inserted multiple kid-friendly videos that we would play in an actual classroom setting that would help us lead up to our activity at the end.
The first class of birds we're going to talk about are Struthioniformes. Their feathers are normally black or brown. They have a typically large wingspan of about 6.5 feet. Their beak is flat and broad with a rounded tip. They have long, strong legs and are good runners. Their adaptations include being fast on land but no flying. Their wings are meant to keep them warm. Their habitat is typically savanna and desert regions. They migrate from their homes and move in case of food or water shortage. Their identification includes long legs, large body, long neck, and small head. And their nesting, they use communal nests for a whole flock and swallow depression in the dirt made by a male.
Our next bird is Galliformes. These are your fowls, chickens, and turkeys. They have 4 types of feathers, typically black, brown, gray, red, orange, or yellow. Round wings, typically 10 to 18 inches. Small, skinny beaks. They have 3 toes. A few breeds have 5 toes. Bones are hollow. Flexible toes allow for digging, and pointed spurs are for defense. They're found worldwide in a variety of habitats, including forest, deserts, grasslands. They move from the north in the spring for breeding and return in autumn-winter months in warmer regions to the south. They're plump, heavy, pear-shaped bodies and have small, round heads. They usually nest on the ground, hiding themselves as best as they can.
Next, we're going to talk about Spheniciformes. Their feathers are typically short and stiff and repel water and provide insulation. Their wings are typically flipper-like. They have long bills, short legs, and webbed feet. They have heavy bones to keep them underwater, and they typically live in islands and remote continental regions. In terms of migration, they have yearly travels inland to breed. In terms of identification, they're typically 1 to 4 feet tall, have short necks, and elongated bodies. With nesting, they typically go underground in burrows, rocks, caves, and under vegetation.
Our next bird is Falconiformes. These are falcons, hawks, and eagles. Their feathers are usually gray and brown and black with pale stripes. They are long pointed wings for falcons and short and round for hawks. Usually strong bills hooked at the tip with a sharp edge and soft skin at the base. They have powerful feet with hooked claws, and some adaptations are strong taloned feet, forward-facing eyes, curved beaks, and keen vision and hearing. They're usually found in forests, grasslands, tundras, or savannas. They have to have a lot of prey available. Mid-August till mid-July migration is during the day from North America to Mexico. They identify with short tails, long legs, broad wings, rounded short heads, or pointer heads. They nest on the ground or in a hollow tree or in a cliff cavity.
Next, we have Anseriformes. Their feathers are typically short and dense. They have small wings, medium-length, broad bills with somewhat flattened and rounded tip. Their legs are typically centered on their body to aid in swimming. Their adaptations include legs and feet that are strong for swimming and allow them to sit on their large webs in the water. Their habitats typically include coastal wetlands and shallow waters. Migration happens when north winds drop in temp, causing them to move south. Identification includes short and stout, webbed feet, long necks, and include ducks, mallards, swans, geese, etc. Their nesting is usually on the ground near bodies of water and built out of vegetation.
Our next bird is Passeriformes. These are songbirds. They have all and any color of feathers. Their wings taper down to a point, and the outer tip is designed for rapid takeoff. Beaks and bills vary greatly. They have a perching foot, which all three toes are directed forward and one backward to let them perch on tree branches. They're usually in grasslands, woodlands, scrublands, forests, deserts, mountains, and urban environments. They fly from north to south to Mexico in winter months. Their small rounded bodies, short coned beak, variety of colors and patterns, and sing intricate songs. They typically nest in a tree made with a variety of materials. They like to incubate eggs for a few weeks.
Next are Psittaciformes, which are commonly known as parrots. Their feathers are typically brightly colored and vibrant. They have very long and pointed wings and fly great distances. They have thick and curved shaped bills. They have 2 toes facing forward and 2 facing backwards. These toes allow for them to grip onto things tightly and climb. Their curved beaks also allow for them to crack open their food. Their habitats consistently are forest temperatures or tropical and sometimes in open savannas. In terms of migration, they are relatively immobile and do not take seasonal trips. They stay in their same area. In terms of identification, they are brightly colored, noisy, long pointed tail, and wings with a round, small head and a curved beak. Their nesting typically includes tree cavities.
And now for the evolutionary history. Birds evolved from the theropod dinosaurs during the Jurassic. This was about 165 to 150 million years ago. The modern features of a bird took many years to evolve over time, and mass extinction created a burst of diversity with more than 10,000 species today. Again, in an actual classroom setting, we would play a video like this to explain the evolutionary history of birds.
The ecological significance of birds is that they eat 400 to 500 tons of insects per year. Crows and vultures scavenge carcasses, which reduces the spread of disease. All birds spread seeds around and help pollinate plants, and they cycle nutrients by fertilizing areas, including coral reefs.
For our first topic of interest, we have adaptations. These are traits both physical and behavioral shaped by natural selection to enable organisms to excel in their specific environments, enhancing their survival and reproductive success. An example of this would be a physical trait such as camouflage.
Another topic of interest are habitats. They are the specific environments where particular species of organisms live and interact with their surroundings, and they are determined by their unique ecological characteristics and available resources. These locations provide necessary living conditions for the organisms that have adapted to thrive within them.
Our next topic is migration. This is seasonal movements of animals, particularly birds, fish, or other species, from one region to another, typically in response to changing environment conditions such as change in temp and availability of food resources, aiding in species survival. Typically involves long-distance travel or large-scale journeys.
The next topic of interest is identification, which is the process of determining and classifying organisms into specific groups or species based on their distinctive characteristics such as physical traits, genetic markers, or the other observable features in order to categorize and understand the diversity of living organisms.
Our last topic of interest is nesting. This is the behavior process by which certain animals, particularly birds, construct and prepare a shelter or a structure known as a nest for the purpose of laying and incubating their eggs, as well as raising their offspring in a protective and secure environment. They can vary greatly in terms of design, material used, and location, and they can serve as critical elements in their reproductive strategies and survival as a species. This could be a fun 5 to 10 minute activity that could be done in a sequence until they have gone through all of the birds on our presentation. The students will fill out the sheet according to the information, and under the Resources I Use section, they could insert what videos they had watched from our presentation.